Hey, what's up, you amazing hackers? Hope you're all doing well today and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm a bit frustrated. I'd just like to talk. I'm not gonna talk at 100 miles an hour like I normally do because I kind of want to give myself the time to think, and it's not gonna be about ethical hacking. So if you're here for that, you might as well click away right now. I'm not joking. What I would like to talk today about is mental health a bit more. Like I am for myself, I know that a lot of hackers, they're struggling with mental health. I've been struggling with it myself for a long time. Like ever since I was a child, basically, it was hard for me to find things that were interesting and kept my attention for a little bit, a little bit of relaxation, hobbies, as you might say. I almost never had that. Like my hobbies as a kid, they consisted of playing the Game Boy, playing games, that kind of stuff. That was sort of my hobby for a long time as a kid. I would go play on the street, but what were they playing on the street? I was playing with my freaking Game Boy. I love to climb shit. I mean, I love to make fires. I know, weird sets of hobbies, but basically, I didn't really have that like other kids, when they liked soccer or that one like going to, I don't know, climbing classes or whatever. I never really had that. I did soccer, I tried that. My dad was a soccer coach for a long time, but it never really worked out for me. Like I didn't find it as enjoyable. I've tried martial arts before. I had to quit that because of fibromyalgia. Like it hurts a little bit, but also like it just doesn't interest me after a little bit. And I found that I was able to at certain points attach or hook onto certain things, but not forever. Like of course, I know that nobody sticks with one thing forever, but like my attention span was literally doing something exclusively for several weeks and then never picking it up again. Like I have this thing inside of me where it's difficult for me to consistently stick with one thing. And it's always ran in my family as well. I mean, my sister had ADHD, my nephew has ADHD. So there's definitely some family history there. And I know that it is inheritable, and I sort of suspect that my mom also has ADHD, although she never got diagnosed, and it is not up to me to diagnose people. So that's besides the point. But what I do know is that it's highly inheritable, and like it's never clicked for me because 32 years is what it took for me to actually get a diagnosis in that. And like for those entire 32 years, like I've tried to find my way in the world. I've tried to do even self-medication through drugs. Like I've been a heavy drug addict. If you guys don't know that, that's definitely something that I did in the past. It's all self-medication. It was for a lack of a better word, chasing that dopamine. And I really, like, I didn't know where that came from. And for the longest time, I thought I was insufficient, that it was up to me, that I did things wrong because other people, they seem to be having an easier time doing the things that they didn't enjoy. And this may seem like, oh, little whiny Wesley, he doesn't like to clean the house, blah, 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 blah. No, it's actually painful. It's physically painful for me to do certain things I don't like almost. Like to the point where it takes me a month longer to do my taxes than I actually have the deadline for. So the deadline has been passed by a month, resulting in financial loss for me because there's a fine connected to that stuff. And now, only now do I know where that comes from after waiting for 6 months and then another 6 months to do all of the necessary testing and stuff like that. And it's not even that. Like, the thing is, it takes a long time to get a diagnosis from, but then at that point, you've already had like 32 years of having to save yourself a little bit. So in certain areas, you're doing good, and in certain areas, you're really not doing well. But it is difficult to see, and only after such a long time can you really start to realize, okay, there's certain things I'm going to have to work on to make sure that I can live as successful of a life as other people can. One of the big things that I struggle with right now at this point is boredom. I don't find things super interesting, and it annoys me. That's why I'm making this video. I'm bored, so I just wanted to talk about that stuff. But I try to work around that. Like I try to do other things. Like I try to do, I don't know, meditation, yoga, weightlifting, running. There's so many things that I'm trying to get like a sustainable dopamine hit almost, but it's not doing it for me. It's really, really hard, like to even get yourself to do this kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. Like to just push myself to go running. Once I'm running, it's okay, you know, especially afterwards. Like I really like that runner's high, but getting just putting yourself to do that running is one thing. And then another thing is also that impulsivity. Like I pretty much have zero impulse control. It's a disaster. It's a fucking disaster. Like if I see a shiny, I want to buy it. If I see something that I really like, I want to buy it immediately. At the cost of even going like, oh, I really want this, God knows what drone or whatever. That's really freaking awesome. I've been saving up for like a new MacBook for myself. In private, then I don't use my private MacBook for my professional stuff. But I'm saving up for a new MacBook. Screw it. I'm just gonna grab the drone. You know, so it's super, super difficult for me for that impulse control, partially because of the ADHD, but also partially because I just completely fried my brain with all kinds of drugs in the time. Like I'm not gonna name the names because I don't want people to get like when I hear the name of my drug of choice, I get cravings. It's as simple as that. So that's why I'm not saying the names. I'm right now at this point. It's difficult for me to get structure in my life because the organizational skills that I have are pretty much underdeveloped. Like for example, cleaning my house. Every day, cleaning my house looks differently in order and things the way that I do them. I need to have that novelty. I need to have that new thing. Otherwise, it's gonna be very difficult for me to even do it. It's already difficult enough as it is, but without like with novelty, it's a little bit doable at the very least. Now, I don't have too much to complain about. I also know that, like, I have a very, very successful life in terms of like some people's standards. You know what I mean? Like, I have a very successful YouTube channel. I have my company. I have a Twitter account. Things are going well. It's just that I always will feel like I am insufficient and like I can achieve more. On the opposite spectrum of that, I also feel like my hyperfocus, that is like one thing that I do like about ADHD, has allowed me to get to this point to a degree. Because without that hyperfocus, I'm never going to be that good in bug bounties as I used to be. That's something I need to be very honest about. Like that hyperfocus, being able to hack from in the morning till the evening without food or water, that's something that really helped in a sense. It also didn't help. I'll get more into that later. But like that hyper focus really helped me into achieving some of my goals. What I am really like spiteful or what really sucks for me, I should say, is that when I have that hyper focus, I kind of burn myself out for the future. It's like you really do yourself no favors by spending 500% of your energy today so that you can only spend 10% of your energy in the next few days. You know what I mean? So it's really important to learn to pace yourself in that regard, which is what I'm trying to do. Trying, very big word, trying. I mean, it's not easy. Pacing yourself is just not easy, at least not for me. I have to work on something and be able to work on it until I'm done. And if I'm not able to do that, I will literally just forget what I was working on. Can even be on the same day. I can be working on something, and if I'm not able to fully finish it, then it's a problem for me. Now, I have worked around that a little bit, but I try to chop up work into small bits, like pieces that take about an hour's worth of time, so I can really easily plan what I have to do and chop it up more. But that planning in and of itself is also one of those tasks which just takes a lot of effort and which for me is hard. It's not easy to get to that planning phase, but I have to do it because without that planning, I know that I'm pretty much setting myself up for failure. And that's kind of what I wanted to work on most, is that planning stuff. Being able to say, okay, I have a big goal and I can achieve that in 6 months' time if I am more able to chop that down. Like right now, I need to put myself really to do that, but since like a day or two, I've been taking Ritalin, which has helped, but it's only been 2 days, so I can't really tell. Well, I can't tell, to be honest. Like, it does help me focus on things a lot more. A video like this, I would have never been able to record that without Ritalin, but I'm taking like a super, super low dose, and it's only to get started with, of course. Because like here in Belgium, which is really good, by the way, they have this policy of building up your medication. So they start at the lowest possible dose and they build you up until they've reached the therapeutic dose, which is a really fantastic way of working. But it does, like for me, that time management, that organizational thing, still something I really, really heavily need to work on. And one of the tools that I have found that helps for me is to just literally put a piece of paper on the wall. And if I need to do something, like for example, I know that I need to clean my bedroom. Okay, I'll put a piece of paper on the wall and I'll log when I've cleaned my bedroom. And I have like this log of doing things very thoroughly and less thoroughly. So I know exactly when I've done what, because it seems silly, but for me, it's difficult to remember when the last time that I cleaned a certain room was. And I'm not gonna do every single room every single day, you know what I mean? So it is still a challenge. I've come to realize that after 32 years of doing things incorrectly, learning to do them correctly will take time, patience. Like I'm behavioral therapy. It's also the pain that I'm struggling with that I have to deal with. It's like a complex onion with different layers of problems. But I like problems. That's something that people with ADHD always like. A problem to solve, as long as it challenges us enough. Anyway, my friends, I think I'm rambling a little bit. I really appreciate you listening this far. It has helped me because I've been able to externalize some of the feelings that I've been dealing with, and being able to vocalize them really helps me in not having them pent up inside of myself. So hopefully this also helps anyone else. If not, so be it. At least it helped this person, right? Thank you very much for listening to me, amazing hackers. You really are amazing. I keep saying that a lot, but I do mean it, because the fact that you have chosen to spend your time doing ethical hacking instead of sitting on the couch, resting, watching TV, fantastic. Chef's kiss for that. Anyway, amazing hackers, I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye, friends.